2022 community days were filled with some amazing Pokemon and some epic shiny Pokemon, and today we're gonna rank them all. I'll be taking 3 things into account: how useful the community day move was in PvP, how useful the community day move was in PvE, and of course, how epic the shiny Pokemon is. So without further ado, let's go ahead and rank the 14 Pokemon that had a community day this year. We started off with Spiel community day. This was an epic shiny that everyone was looking forward to getting. When you evolve Spiel all the way through, you got the fast attack Powder Snow and the charge attack Icicle Spear, which was Icicle Spear's debut in the game. This helped Walrein rank as the 58th best Great League Pokemon and the 40th best Great League Pokemon when it's a Shadow. It ranks 34th and 23rd as a Shadow in the Ultra League, and it ranks 79th and 81st as a Shadow in the Master League. We love that for Walrein. Unfortunately though, in PvE, it is not amazing. It's got an epic shiny. It's very useful in PvP, but it's not that useful in PvE. I'm gonna throw it in the A range. I think the shiny is really good, and it's pretty useful in all of the PvP leagues, so I feel like it's not really obsolete anywhere. I'm a fan. I think Spiel deserves an A spot on the list. Maybe B, but there's no in between, so let's throw it at A. And a little bit of bias because I love Spiel. Next up, we had our first Community Day classic of the year, and it was Bulbasaur. This shiny family gradually gets a lot better, and I think Venusaur is very nice. When you evolved Bulbasaur all the way through, you got the charge attack Frenzy Plant, and with that, Venusaur ranked 119th in the Great League, 124th as a Shadow. In the Ultra League, it ranked 71st and 69 as a Shadow, and in the Master League, it ranked 205th and 211th as a Shadow. So it definitely has play in PvP. It's a little random, but it works. And this is a little bit unfair, but this actually does have a Mega Evolution. So Mega Venusaur is obviously super amazing in PvE. You gotta love Mega Venusaur. That is absolutely gonna propel the ranking of this community day. So that being said, Bulbasaur, I think kind of has to go in the A spot, dude. I want to throw 2 things in the A right away, but there was a strong start to community days this year. Venusaur and Mega Venusaur, super useful. It has PvP usage. The shinies do get pretty dope as you go on. I think A is a good spot. But I'll tell you right now, this next Pokemon is not going to be high up at all. In February, we had Hoppip community day. Fortunately for Hoppip, it does have a kind of nice shiny family. When you evolved Hoppip all the way through, it got the charge attack Acrobatics. Hoppip ranks 82nd in the Great League and 88th as a Shadow. It ranks 483rd in the Ultra League and 489th as a Shadow, and it doesn't even rank in the Master League at all. Also, in terms of PvE, it is not great. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of feel bad, but I think Hoppip is gonna have to be ranked as a D because let's be real, it's got use in the Great League, it's got an okay shiny family, but it is just not... it's not great. Next up, we had Sandshrew and Alola Sandshrew Community Day. This was fun because we had 2 different Pokemon spawning during the day, and so we're gonna be ranking them separately. Alola Sandshrew shiny family, very good, very nice. When you evolve normal Sandshrew all the way through, it got the charge attack Night Slash. It ranks 291st in the Great League, 328th as a Shadow, 241st in the Ultra League, 199th as a Shadow, and 313th in the Master League, and 332nd as a Shadow. Not great in PvP, and it is definitely not useful in PvE. The only good thing about this community day for me was the shiny family for Sandshrew, and I don't even think that the shiny family is going to be able to save this. Sorry, trainer tips, but I think Alola Sandshrew is going to be a D. And the other part of the community day, Alola Sandshrew. Alola Sandshrew shiny family is dope, but it doesn't really change much, so it's just okay. When you evolve Alola Sandshrew all the way through, you got the fast attack Shadow Claw. That helped Alola Sandslash rank 110th in the Great League, but 59th as a Shadow, 70th in the Ultra League and 79th as a Shadow, and 180th in the Master League and 163rd as a Shadow. So in some cases, it does have some use in PvP, but unfortunately in PvE, not going to be your best friend. I'll throw it in the C range because it does rank quite high in PvP. I actually might even want to bump that to a B, but let's just leave it at a C because the shiny's not that great and you can't use it in PvE, so I think C is a good spot for Alola Sandshrew. Moving on, we had Stuffle Community Day in April. Stuffle's a fan favorite, and it's got an amazing shiny family, so that's definitely a plus. If you evolve Stuffle all the way through, you got the charge attack Drain Punch. Drain Punch is not even its best moveset in any of the PvP leagues, unfortunately, so its move didn't really affect its use in PvP, although in general, Beware ranks 135th in the Great League, 113th in the Ultra League, and 100th in the Master League, and unfortunately, it's got no play in PvE. I kind of feel for Stuffle here. It's not really its fault, but I feel like the shiny carries it so hard that we're gonna have to put it in D, unfortunately, unfortunately, and it hurts. I know it hurts. Its community day move isn't even part of its best move set, and it didn't really help it at all. It's just a cool shiny, and we got some more candies for it, so sorry, Stuffle. And then we had our second community day classic of the year, Mudkip Community Day. We already know it's got a beautiful, beautiful shiny family. When you evolve Mudkip all the way through, you got the Charge Attack Hydro Cannon. This helped Swampert rank 4th in the Great League or 6th as a Shadow. It ranks 7th in the Ultra League or 14th as a Shadow, and in the Master League it ranks 30th or 49th as a Shadow. This is as top tier can get for PvP. You love that. Swampert also does have a Mega Evolution, and Mega Swampert is the #1 water type Pokemon in this game. I think this is going to be our first S tier Pokemon of this list. It's got an amazing Mega Pokemon. It's super useful in PvP, and Hydro Cannon is part of its best moveset. GG's Mudkip, you're our first S tier Pokemon. Next up, we had Alola Geodude Community Day. Alola Geodude's shiny family is pretty amazing, I will say. It's great all the way through, so I'm a fan. When you evolve Alola Geodude all the way through, you got the Fast Attack Rollout. Now, unfortunately, Rollout is not part of Alola Gollum's best movesets. It ranks 242nd in the Great League, 220th in the Ultra League, and 207th in the Master League. The Community Day move did not matter. But as a Rock-type Pokemon in PvE, Alola Gollum does have some usage. It's definitely a great budget Pokemon. That's kind of nice. It's got a nice shiny. Its move didn't matter in PvP, and it's okay in PvE. I feel like I kind of want to put it in the D slot, but maybe C is okay too. I'm gonna lean more towards D. Unfortunately, it didn't get any help in PvP. It's an okay budget option for PvE. Sorry, Alola Gollum, I like you, but I think that's a fair rating. Next up, one of my favorite community days of the year. It was Dino Community Day. Dino's shiny family is top tier. That is already gonna help it so much. If you evolve Dino all the way through, you got the Charge Attack Brutal Swing. It ranks 202nd in the Great League, 208th in the Ultra League, which I know those numbers aren't great, but it ranks 38th in the Master League, and in PvE, it is amazing. Hydreigon is actually the 4th best Dark type overall in this game, and the 2nd best if you don't count any Mega Pokemon, so it made really, really good use for Hydreigon. It carried in the Master League. It's a great shiny, and it is definitely a viable option in PvE. I think Dino goes, I mean, my heart wants to put him in the S slot. I would love to put it in like an A+, just because, you know, Great League and Ultra League doesn't really have a ton of usage. But let's actually throw it in the S. I think it's fine. I think an S is pretty deserving. Next up, Starly Community Day. The shiny family is all right. I will not say much more than that. If you evolve Starly all the way through, you got the Flying Fast Attack Gust. Now, unfortunately, Gust does not help it at all in PvP. It's 403rd and 434th as a Shadow Pokemon in the Great League, 234th and 192nd as a Shadow in the Ultra League, and 226th and 238th as a Shadow in the Master League, and Gust is not a part of any of its best movesets. Also, Staraptor is not super useful in PvE, unfortunately. Dang, this was not a good community day. I don't know if I'm missing something here, but I think Starly's gonna take, if there was an F rank, I think I would throw Starly Community Day in there because, man, it is the lowest tier of D. That was just not a lot of good things. Below average shiny, the Community Day move wasn't even part of its best moveset, and you can't even use it on raids and whatnot. Sorry, man. But this next community day was Galarian Zigzagoon Community Day. Probably the greatest shiny of all time. It's definitely in everyone's top 10. It kind of has to be. If you evolve Galarian Zigzagoon into Obstagoon, you got the Charge Attack Obstruct. Obstruct is actually not a part of its best moveset in the Great League, but it does rank as the 47th best Pokemon. But in the Ultra League, Obstagoon ranks 15th with Obstruct and 103rd in the Master League with Obstruct. So it definitely has use in all the leagues. Unfortunately, though, in PvE, it does not have much use. It's definitely a PvP type Pokemon. This is an interesting one to rank. I think it obviously belongs in one of the top slots. It's so useful in PvP. It's one of the best shinies ever. I think it has to go in the S slot. It's way too good in every league, I feel like. Also, let's be real, the shiny absolutely catapults this Pokemon. It gives it a very, very unfair advantage. So I think S is a pretty good spot. Next up, we had Rolla Community Day. Just like our last Pokemon, I think Rolla has an amazing shiny. If you evolve it all the way through, you get the charged move Meteor Beam. It helped Gigalith rank 552nd in the Great League, 400th in the Ultra League, and 184th in the Master League. Safe to say you're not going to see it in PvP, and it is a pretty solid rock type option in PvE. It's definitely not a bad budget Pokemon. I think it's got an incredible shiny, it's got really no usage in PvP, and it's a great budget Pokemon. I think this Pokemon is going to take our first slot in the B department just because I think it's very limited to what it can do. I think B is a fair slot. I like that. One of the most anticipated community days of all time, Litwick Community Day. Litwick shiny family, absolutely amazing. You gotta love it. If you evolve Litwick all the way through, you got the charge attack Poltergeist. Now, unfortunately, Poltergeist didn't help it at all in PvP. It's not a part of any of its best movesets. It's 535th in the Great League, 453rd in the Ultra League, and 166th in the Master League. And although it is pretty solid in PvE, its Community Day move did not matter. This is a tough one. Its shiny is really good, but its Community Day move did not help it at all. I want to throw it in the B department just because I feel like the shiny really helps, and obviously the candies we got from this Community Day were great. Ah, God, this is an unpopular opinion. I'm gonna put it at C. Sorry, Litwick, I love you though. And my favorite Community Day of the year, there's gonna be a little bit of bias here, Teddy Ursa Community Day. It's got an amazing shiny family. Everybody loves that gummy bear. This brought the debut of Ursa Luna. If you evolve Teddy Ursa all the way through, you got the charge attack high horsepower. Unfortunately, in the Great League, it ranks 632nd and 683rd as a shadow, 441st and 471st as a shadow in the Ultra League, but in the Master League, 33rd overall and a 59th best as a shadow. So Master League is where it's at. Also, it's definitely a good budget option in PvE. There is going to be a little bit of bias here. My heart tells me to just put it in S and say who cares, but let's be a little bit realistic. We're going to put it as an A. I like our S rank Pokemon already, and the A's are pretty good as well. Teddy Ursa, I love you though. I would put you at an S, but people are going to get mad. And our final Community Day of the year, the third Community Day classic, Dratini. We all know Dratini's got an amazing shiny family up until Dragonite. Unfortunately, it gets kind of weird. If you evolve Dratini all the way through, you got the charge attack Draco Meteor. Now, this is another one of those cases where the move kind of didn't help. But Dragonite overall is great in PvP. It ranks 53rd and 35th as a shadow in the Great League, 43rd and 31st as a shadow in the Ultra League, and 2nd and 3rd as a shadow in the Master League. Unfortunately, though, in PvE, there's just way too many good Dragon-type Pokemon for Dragonite to kind of have a place. It is a good budget option. I love Dragonite, and it is very useful as a Pokemon in Pokemon Go. But if we're only talking about Community Day and how useful that Community Day move was, I unfortunately, dude, this is a really unpopular opinion. I love Dratini, but I think I might have to throw it in the C range. I just think the Community Day move didn't help at all. Got a nice shiny, it's useful otherwise, but I think that's kind of got to be the rank. So here's my final rankings for all the Pokemon Go 2022 Community Days. As you can see, I think the S rank Pokemon are pretty solid. Mudkip is just super useful. Hydreigon is a great Pokemon, and Zigzagoon has a lot of use with an epic shiny. In the A ranks, I think Walrein has found a new life with its moves, and it's a great shiny. Bulbasaur has a little bit of an unfair advantage that has a Mega, which is super useful, and it's a great Pokemon. Teddy Ursa, a little bit of bias there, but I'm down. I wouldn't be too mad if we kind of move some stuff around here, but to be honest, I think we should leave it as is. And then in the D ranks, I think that's pretty fair to say those Pokemon just kind of got rocked, not their fault. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Let me know what you guys agree with and don't agree with. The middle gets a little weird, and as it always does in any kind of rankings, but I think this was a pretty fair judgment. We had some epic Community Days this year. A lot of great shinies, a lot of useful Pokemon, but definitely had our misses as well. I'm looking forward to doing this again next year.